As they say in Toy Story, when the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, just remember what your old pal said. Boy, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. Hey everyone, welcome back to the New Year's Tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Skeleton Crew, Season 1, Episode 6, Zero Friends Again. And Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you guys had a great New Year. Happy, great Christmas time, blah, blah, blah. New Year, new me. I'm an appendix short, so from compared to last time that we recorded.
So yeah,
I had emergency appendectomy last Friday, so that was fun. I missed my family's Christmas.
Yeah.
I was in the hospital for 12 hours, but I'm good to go.
But he's good now, guys.
Yep. So
yeah, I was watching that like after you posted it, right? And then I was thinking like, oh, Jeremiah wasn't hurt yet. Jeremiah's fine in this video. He doesn't look like he's in any pain. But it was the next day. When I watched, I watched you and Grace's last episode.
Yeah.
Breakdown. And I was watching it and I was thinking, I'm like, oh, Jeremiah's healthy in this one.
Oh, you watched it like after I told you?
It was like right after you told me,
really?
as soon as it went live. And I was like, he looks good. What is he talking? Like, I'm curious on when it happened, but yeah.
But
it happens like that.
I'm all good now.
You're good now.
I'm like, I don't know, 80%, 85%.
Knock on wood.
So I've been really bored at home. So I was excited to like watch Star Wars and do this breakdown. But
that's fair.
Life goes on. The show must continue. But before we get into tonight's breakdown, we got some comments on Spotify and a poll also. So last week was Grace and I only, and Grace brought to my attention all the details of why she thinks that Neil's elephant species is related to Captain Renaud in some way, shape, or form. So the poll was, is Neil's family / species tied to Captain Renaud? And we haven't done polls much lately just because they changed everything on Spotify, but we got 3 responses.
Nice.
So check polls every once in a while because we might be start doing them again. But 33% said yes, 67% said no. So that's kind of sad.
One person said yes.
But I think it's still Neil's species is related. But we got some comments too. Our good friend Brady for last week's episode said, wow, what an episode. I love the twists and turns in this one. Are you leaning more towards Jai being a Jedi now? Perhaps he's a Dark Jedi or maybe an ex-Inquisitor. That'd be kind of cool. Who escaped the Empire and started out on his own. Him having a lightsaber now just feels so right. I also wonder how the parents are going to get their message to the kids out. Wow, what an amazing show. I think they're going to show up before the parents can figure anything out based on this episode. Jonathan says, I think the captain of the Onyx Cinder is now the supervisor. Interesting. It was intentional that they didn't see him on the holo message. I think Jod and the kids will reunite at Atten to defeat his old crew of mutineers. I always enjoy the episodes with Grace. Keep up the good work. I think based on this episode, that's what's going to happen. The pirates are going to show up to Atten, and then the kids are going to come to save the day. JM Tom 78 says, anyone else noticed in the final trailer there's a shot of Jod walking down the ramp of the ship with the kids behind him, and he has a lightsaber hanging off his belt? I don't remember seeing him with a...
I don't either.
I thought he had a blaster in his belt. But I think we would have remembered seeing a saber. I never went back after reading his comment.
I don't really like going back and rewatching trailers.
I totally forgot about the giant crab thing.
So did I, and
once they showed up, like I remembered it, but I'm like, I totally forgot about that. And then Tech Fan says, new podcast title, Grace Takes on the Internet. I don't know what you mean by that, but let us know in the comments for this episode, Tech Fan, what you mean, or send in a voicemail, even better.
Yeah.
But that's all the comments we have for.
Well, I've been saying that though. I think that the person in charge is the captain, but you said he was too old to be.
That ship was buried under like centuries of dirt and trees growing on top of it, unless that
Yeah.
species can live long. But I think Grace was right in her evidence that Neil's family is probably descendants of, unless they just live super long, and the dad is like the Captain Renaud, and he's just been undercover this whole time. But like,
I mean, that'd be kind of cool.
because like Grace said, like in Neil's garage, there's like that picture on the wall with like his species, like their two hands are holding something. I went back and looked at that. It's like those old, not old, but like in Germany, like at like a brewery or something. They have like people hold like 5 like giant beers in each hand or whatever, like glass things. It was like that, but like, so I don't know, like, I guess alcoholic beverages are a thing with pirates, as we know from Captain Jack Sparrow and stuff like that. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something going on, because it did, like she said, zoom in and kind of linger for a second on that picture. So quite
That'd
interesting.
Be cool.
But I don't know. But Drew, might as well just jump into it.
Yeah.
Overall thoughts of this episode 6. It was also directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, so I was excited going into this one. But what did you think of this episode?
This is my least favorite one.
Bro,
sure.
What?
Yeah. I was bored.
Even when KB was dying, right
that part
there?
was cool. Okay, so like learning best episode yet. Okay, chat, chill. Like, I don't like that part was cool. I think the crab thing was really just dumb in my opinion. Also, kind of reminded me of Moana, but that's just me. Like I almost like clipped like the intro to that song from Moana. Have you seen Moana?
I have once a long time ago. I should have
clipped that song.
Anything.
I almost did. But anyways, I don't know. Like I just like it took like there's a lot of cool parts in it. The ship part was really dope. Like not knowing that it was like a layer, like a shield layer essentially, like on top of that ship. That part was really dope. I was like, oh, their ship is done. Like it's over. So like when that part was dope, I was like, that is sweet. And then the whole like when she almost died and like they fixed her up and like real knowing like something happened to her where she was in an accident. We don't really know what happened. Sounds like a season 2 kind of like they'll tell us then kind of thing, like we're not gonna learn really probably in this season, but like that stuff was cool. And but like the whole other 2 characters like really had nothing to do with this really much. Like them just climbing up and then they jump on the ship and then they did, like I don't know. Like overall, like it was fine. I just wasn't really like this episode's the best. Sorry, chat. Like I don't know. It was fine. To me, this is my episode of the season. That is episode 4, Bad Batch. The pod racing.
Season 2 of Bad Batch.
Yeah.
So that's all your thoughts you have?
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's not the prediction that it seems like we know what we're doing. Like, she said that she has a Conord, like, she knows how to get there now. She's probably going to plug into the ship, I assume. The pirates are probably going to land there at the exact same time. And I don't know. We'll find out what happens. The parents aren't going to leave. You know, it'll be hilarious. So if the parents leave as they get there, that'd be kind of funny.
Like that meme from the Umbrella Academy when they're driving past each other and there's like,
yeah. Like I could see that happening. But I think they get to the point where they can open up the planet, and that's when they actually all land in there. So, but besides that, like, I don't know. I'm curious to see how it ends. To you and Grace's point, like, there's so little hype for this show right now. It's kind of crazy to me. Like, no one's talking about it.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's because it's the new year and the
I don't know.
holidays and
I just
stuff,
think
but
that for most of Star Wars, it's all about like hate, like normally, and so there's so many videos of people. Like I just watched a video from the man that shall not be named. How back in the day he would post a video about lore stuff and get like 50,000 views in like a couple hours, and eventually they get millions of views and stuff. And now when he does lore videos, there's not much on there, but like if he posts something like a controversial topic, like an article or something, then there's way more or something like it's just what people are interested in is like going over drama and hate and
that's the
stuff. So like
internet, though.
if like most people
Enjoy it. It's
enjoy it,
just kind of
they
just
just
like,
accept it and move on. They don't have to complain about it.
mm.
So I think that has to do with it too.
But I feel like there's, I mean, maybe you're right. Like the last show was like the last show was very much so hated that it was everywhere.
Right.
Like every casual person even knew about it. And this, like, a lot of casuals don't really know about it because people like it. So it's not really like, it's not in my algorithm. And I feel like it's not really in like Empire Radio's algorithm either. Like on Instagram, when I scroll through Instagram for Empire Radio, I don't really see like people like
Sometimes
posting it.
there's a little bit. Usually, if there is, it's about Neil.
Yeah.
Because Neil's is everybody's favorite.
Well, he's the GOAT, bro. I like want to get Neil's face tattooed, bro. Like, get some weird alien elephant on my arm. That'd be dope. I don't know. Like, people are missing out for sure. I really enjoy the show. Like, for me, this is just for me personally. It felt like the weakest one yet. I think there's a lot of cool parts in it, but like, it didn't really build a story much. Like, we didn't really get any more answers. We just learned that what's her name,
KB,
is not fully a human. We just thought she was like a nerdy tech girl and she wore cool glasses. We didn't realize they actually like help her survive. So like that was cool, but like it was something that we learned, but something that we didn't really need. You know what I mean? Unless later on, like next episode, she does something that we didn't know she has like secret powers that we don't know about. But yeah. It's both of us, chat.
We're both logged in. I post
and I scroll.
And he does like if there's ever any stories,
he does.
Those.
Jeremiah does have a smartphone.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Like
so
I can
Instagram
only post
is dumb.
images. I can't like do anything other than that. So
and Jeremiah comments and
messaging and stuff.
And stuff.
Slide into our DMs. I'm the one that
Jeremiah is the one that really talks. I'm just the one that keeps. I don't know what I do. Honestly, I just look sometimes. But like, I feel like even Star Wars isn't really like talking much about it.
I don't know. They're always posting on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff. Like everything that shows up on Facebook is the same stuff they post on Instagram. I just see it on Facebook, and it's like that's how I got like all my thumbnails and.
I mean, yeah, like, dude. Also, their thumbnails are the poster that they did from last week's episode with all the kids in their costumes. That one was sick. Do you see that one?
I'm sure I did. They post a lot of them, but
which I'm glad they're doing that again, like they did for Mando. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. But yeah, that's my. What about you?
I think this might have been my favorite episode of the season. So that's kind of funny. I just felt like it was like the shortest episode. I think maybe it was only like
34 minutes.
I don't know. There was another episode that was about the same, but so it's super short. But like, I really felt like this was the most emotional episode. I felt like sure it had like a slow start and there wasn't a lot with Jod at first. Like we get the cool speech, I think was a necessary speech.
Yeah, that was cool.
But like I felt like the character development between the kids, like they needed a like drama and friction between the group of them somehow. And usually in shows when there stuff like that happens, they don't get reunited for like 2-3 episodes or something. Like they were able to fix it right away. But like I really like how they used KB's quote like disability
Hmm.
to like address deeper issues. Like this was like I felt like this was like a moral to the story for this one about like accepting people for who they are and like understanding their limitations. And like I really appreciated like the good message about it. Um like in Clone Wars, every episode had a little like blurb proverb at the
Yeah.
beginning where like, it was less like if you paid attention you could see how it was related, but like it wasn't always that important. But like this one, like the message was very clear and I really appreciated that. Um
Yeah, I
and
liked it. I mean,
I like that we learn more about KB. That seems like she said she had an accident and she probably like broke her neck and they her cybernetic, like they call it augs, like augmentations. What was the ones from Book of Boba Fett called? The
it
mods.
was just mods, yeah.
So
But those are like people were doing it to enhance.
yeah, but they were also like like had injuries that they were
Really? I just thought the way the Book of Boba Fett's characters felt like it was like them getting tattoos
right,
or like piercings. Like they're
right,
just like trying to be different and like I don't need this arm. I can get a better one because technology is better. You
right,
know what I mean? Like it didn't feel like hers feels like clearly if she runs out of whatever that was in the back of her head, like she dies or stuff like that. So like it just felt a little different.
right. So like
It
I just really
felt more
liked that,
needed.
and I really liked how um I felt like in the last couple few episodes or whatever, like Wim has kind of been the least important character, but like I still think he's the glue that keeps everyone together with this episode. Like, and like when
He still pissed me off.
oh come on,
I think
dude.
that's why I didn't like it
But
as
like
much.
when he's trying to fix KB and she's like super sad. Like I lost my only friend. Like now she's like her line is zero friends again. And he's
Mhm.
like, well, you can be friends with me and Neil. And then you just see her face kind of brighten up as she's basically dying.
It was like brighten up but shutting down at the same time.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
like she like really felt
It
like
was a really cool moment
I
for
have like
sure.
a friend group and like I
Mhm.
really like that. And like like the end scene of them like take the ship coming apart, like that was a cool scene. But like what I appreciated the most was how all the kids, they have no
Took the
experience with it.
position.
They just
Yeah.
all jumped into the right position. Fern, she kind of was like directing it a little bit, like, but like they all kind of knew where to go. Like Wim was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the gunner. I'm gonna try and shoot this thing off. And like,
Mhm.
KB's like, I'm gonna go down to the engine to see if we can get some power. Like, who's gonna fly? Well, Neil, you already flew. You go, and they're just like working together like it's a great team. And I'm like,
Mhm. It definitely did bring like teamwork
yeah.
once they all figured it out.
So
Which yes, that was cool.
I just like most of the episode. They started out a little slow, but like it's okay to start out slow because it's necessary to like set up, for everything.
Yeah.
Um,
I think what it didn't hit me the same way it hit you, and the way you're explaining it makes it feel really good. I think it's because it just felt like I'm okay with the way their community was working. Like I'm okay with her being the captain. I'm okay with you know what I mean, like the flow of what it was. But this is making it so that they're actually all a team and no one's higher. There's no hierarchy anymore and stuff like that.
right,
So I think like for me, it just didn't. In the moment, I was just like, okay, like what are we doing? Like I want to get more into the story or like what how we're gonna get out of here or like, but but I guess it makes sense where it was just kind of more of less like this team is no longer just like one person in charge. Like they're actually all working together.
Yeah.
So,
So like we know that they're gonna probably do a season 2, and then it'll
mhm.
probably be a few years away. But like we're really gonna see them as a great, well-oiled machine running this ship someday. But like I wonder if they have like an animated series with these kids. I would be kind of be excited for like an animated
Be
series that
cool.
takes place between the 2 seasons.
Yeah,
Like that would be really cool
something to keep us going
because
and
we need
connected.
an animated show. Like we're gonna get an animated show announced in April or May or whenever
April
April when Star Wars Celebration is.
celebration.
But like I don't know. I think it'd be cool if it was like an animated skeleton crew where the kids are just doing something now. They're kids, so it's like, can they really go off and be independent
Well,
from?
if they wait a couple years and they're older,
Oh, they're only 10 in this thing, so it's like
and they're like only like what 10 or 11 in real life too.
I think they're closer to like 12ish now in real life. But like
Have you watched any of the interviews of them?
no, but like I know that the creators of the show said that season 2 would age appropriately to the actor's age.
Which is sweet.
So if it's, let's say another 2 years from now, 3 years from now that we get season 2, they're gonna be 15, and so
Hmm.
that's still young to be like an independent crew out in space doing their own thing. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I just really liked this episode. I just thought it was very emotional, a lot of great development to like get hyped for like a 2-part finale is coming up. So
because this was what episode 5,
6.
6.
So we only got 2 more episodes left,
Gotcha.
and then it's
Okay,
done.
so that makes me feel even better because for some reason I thought there was one episode left, and I was like,
Nah,
okay, but
we got 8 episodes, so 2 more episodes, and I think it's going to be a strong finale. So,
agreed. Sweet.
all right, scene by scene. So, what we will do is we will do the Jod stuff first, get all that out of the way, and then we'll do the kids stuff. So, Jod just comes out of a manhole on the landing pad, which kind of crazy that the
Why couldn't they just go find that in the first
yeah,
place and go
like it
down
just
it?
there's a direct like how does the management like not know
Not know that
that
there's
this
like
this
millions of
manhole
dollars
goes
under.
straight down
Yeah.
into a thing, whatever. Unless
Also,
he
didn't
just
it like I thought all those pirates died from the last episode.
well, Grace and I talked about there's no way that they just all got killed. Like some of them did, but like they weren't gonna kill Steve Urkel. They weren't gonna.
I thought they did. I was like, wow, that was quick. Like,
They weren't
but
gonna. I knew they weren't gonna kill them all just instantly like that. Like there has to be a battle against the pirates, and if all the pirates are dead, then it's just the crew against Brutus. Like
Brutus
whatever.
is such a cool character, though.
Um, but yeah, so he comes out of the manhole, but he's like covered in like chains, like bling bling, like back as we would say back in the day. Do they still say bling bling at all, or no? Is
No,
that's like
definitely not.
15 years ago? But like
They're covered. He was covered in ice.
that what they say ice? Or is that? I feel
He
like
was
that's still a
actually
couple years old.
mostly pearls. Actually, he was covered in
He had a bunch of gold stuff and whatever,
pearls.
and of
Which
course,
I'm like, they have pearls in Star Wars,
yeah, why not? It's just
but like
inside a clam or
probably
whatever
have
oyster.
probably have cooler pearls. They should have like black pearls or something.
I'm sure there's a species somewhere in the galaxy that's big
Well, they
enough.
have black pearls here in our galaxy too.
In our world, yeah. So they'll probably be in somewhere in the galaxy, and so he comes out of the hole, and management is there, but then the pirates are there also, and he's like, "Oh, I was looking for you guys, waiting for you. I was hoping you were still here. I found the biggest score ever. Blah blah blah. Like riches on you could never even remember, like imagine. Blah blah blah." And the pirates are like, "We don't care. We're here to take you in. Blah blah blah." And then he's like, 33 attack. And I'm like, that's the stupidest plan ever. Like, have him come out of the hole first.
Yeah, he was like, huh?
He's like trying to climb out of the thing, and then they just
A hole that you could barely fit into.
yeah, and like they just shocked him, like, and he doesn't do anything. And so as they're doing this, like the X-wings show up, and the X-wings start attacking. And they take Jod into the ship, and they will grab the droid too. Well, like, obviously now that they had to like throw that line in there just to make it make sense why they have him later, because they can't just like not have him in the show.
Yeah.
So whatever, they take the droid, and then later on, in the episode, it flashes to the them arriving at the pirate fleet, and then it's like a trial. Like he's on trial, and Brutus declares him guilty, blah blah blah, of whatever, and that he is punished. He can be punished. His punishment is death, and he's gonna be thrown through the airlock into space for his punishment. And
Which is kind of cool.
right, because it's similar to like walking the plank type of thing.
Yeah, which I thought was super clever that they came up with like that.
But it should have been like somewhere where there's like space sharks or something that would attack or something. I don't know. It'd be kind of funny if they did it like that. They got like space whales, and they have like
Yeah, they had to
Minox
have space
and all that stuff. But,
sharks, right?
yep. But like, it's like all the pirates are cheering, but then there's like one old lady that's kind of like not happy about this. I don't know. She's like the only one who's faithful to Silvo, which is his pirate name, Jod's pirate name, and she's like, well, there's the right of the last appeal according to the pirate code. Like he has to like have equal time to like defend himself. And you're like, fine, whatever. And their 5 minute thing doesn't have sand, it has plasma, which is kind of it's like a lava.
It was kind of cool.
Kind
It was
of
like
lava
a
lamp type thing. It's kind of cool.
I thought that was dope.
And Jod has this like speech. I feel like he's been preparing it for like
Since
he's had it in his pocket for like months, and he just
Yeah.
has to like tweak it based on the situation. And so he's like, I've been hungry for a very long time, blah blah blah. We've all been hungry, we've all been looking for scraps, nothing, the credits are scarce, blah blah blah, and stuff. But he's like, but what if our resources never ran out? What if we had all the credits we needed? What if, all the food we'd be set for life, and blah blah blah. And he's like, goes to like one guy, he's like, you wanted to start that glowweed plantation. What if I could give you whole oceans worth? Oh, that would be great. And then goes to like another lady, you deserve your own ship. You even a fleet, blah blah blah. And he's like, well, I found these resources. I found where we can print our own, because he has like that one last credit left.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I know where they make these, and we could make a limited of these. And he starts talking about Takranad and how, well, like, how does the song go? Or they're singing a song about the legend of him and the myth of him, and then how like the last line is he found the plunder of At-Aten, and everyone's all excited, blah blah blah. And so Brutus is like, fine, sure, we'll go to At-Aten because you know where it is apparently. And if there's no treasure there, or if we don't find the planet, then you're dead. And that's kind of how the story ends. So they're gonna go.
Did you appreciate the song?
Well, is it the melody specific, or do you mean just?
No, I just thought it was kind of cool because it really felt like you're watching like Pirates of the Caribbean. Like it had like
a space shanty.
Yeah, I thought it was like super clever. I was like, dude, this is dope. Like, I really like that they're keeping the pirate-ness of like what our pirates would like did and stuff, but then they like tweaked it to make it spacey. So I thought it was cool. That was dope.
Yeah. So they're gonna go to At-Aten and attack, which is interesting. Like, I just wonder. I'm just kind of like thinking, like, how does this barrier play in effect? Because the kids were able to leave with no problem, with the barrier. So I wonder how does the
But
barrier going to stop
okay,
ships from coming in? So like
now,
Rogue One type of thing, like a shield. What
well, now that that thing is off, though, do you think that was why they were able to get through the barrier?
do you mean? What was off?
Now that that metal shield thing that was on top of the ship, do you think that was why they got through the barrier? Like that was some sort of
Oh,
metal that was able to go through the barrier?
I don't know.
And that's why I think the parents' part in this is they're going to figure out how to turn off the barrier. They're
So
going to turn off right in time when.
well, I feel like the barrier has two purposes: to block like visual seeing of the planet, as well as like trying to scan with instruments to see the planet. So like you can't find it on a star, like no one could accidentally find it because they like, oh, there's nebulas, we can't go through there. But also I
Mhm.
think it blocks communication as well to and from, so that there can't be an accidental like contact or whatever. So
But you don't actually think it actually
well, I don't
blocks
know, like I think for sure that's that, but because the kids were able to go through it so easy, it seems like it's not like a protected like
physical
physical
protecting
barrier.
barrier.
But I don't know,
But
we'll see.
everyone thinks it is.
But it could also be used as that, like maybe it can be turned on to do that, or has some sort of defensive thing if necessary. Maybe like the supervisor can turn the dial and it can do that. We'll see. But I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely like hides the planet. That's for sure.
Right. All right. Well, that's that storyline. So we just jump into the kids. So it starts off the episode. They're just sliding down these tubes after they fell through the hole in the chamber, and they get separated. Like they get like like different tubes or whatever, and going their own way. I'm like, this is fun. This is the Goonies. This is
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones. This is definitely something that would happen in those movies. And they just get launched onto the beach with a bunch of junk. And so they land, and I'm like, okay, I saw 4 kids come through, and then I'm like, I'm just looking around, and I only see 3 kids standing up and walking. I'm like, where does the other person go? And KB, she's on the ground, she can't move, and I was like, oh, what's happening? And Fern immediately understands that it's her
Medical.
OGs. She calls it OGs. Her OGs are bad. Sometimes this happens. We just gotta kind of reset it or whatever. And so it gets reset. Cool, fun, blah blah blah. And so while they're down there, kind of talking things through, KB's getting rebooting, um, Control Alt Delete her type of thing. She's That's when the X-wing showed up when they're attacking the pirates as they're trying to escape, and so she's like, "Hey, look, pirates!" And they're like, "Oh, wait, those are X-wings," and they're like, "Oh, Jod said those are bad, but no, Kim said that they're good guys." And they're trying to get help, waving for help down on the beach, but the X-wings are too far up and they're preoccupied, and so they're like, "Well, now how are we gonna get home now?" And KB's like, "Well, I have the coordinates. Like, I got them. Like, cool, awesome." And then Fern's like, "All right, well, we got to climb the wall all the way up to," because the landing pad is like right there above them, straight above them. And so Fern's like, "Let's go," but then Wim is like, "No, you're gonna fall and you're gonna break every bone in your body." Like, it's just classic 10-year-old kids talking, and like, so they disagree, but then KB and Fern, they kind of go to the side and they're talking, and Fern is like, "Yeah, we just go up here, blah blah blah," and it's kind of like the only option. And KB, we see her like first time with like real emotion, like, no, just because you can't think of other options doesn't mean that there aren't other options. And they kind of have that little like tense moment, like, oh, there's drama with these kids now. They're starting to disagree. Things are getting intense because they all just about almost died. So like, makes sense. And then Neil's like, guys, we're not alone down here. It's just these little crab guys with little like contraptions on them. So it's like, so were they able to speak because they were able to like be like parrots, or was it the devices that they had on their back that was like repeating?
I don't know.
Because like there was like the one had like a droid, like a
Leg
protocol droid. It's like were they like taking voice boxes from droids that were thrown down there?
potentially.
But like they all had to seem like they all had the same exact voice. So I thought maybe it was the crabs, like that species of crab thing could just be like
Yeah, I don't know, but then the giant one couldn't talk. Or maybe it could, it just was hungry.
was hungry. But I don't know. And so Wim is just like they're arguing, whatever, like, no, we should follow the crabs. Like they're natives. They can bring us to someone who can help us. We should follow them. And then like KB is like, well, I agree with Wim. And then Neil is like, well, I guess I'll go with Fern, but I can't climb that well. And she's like, that's fine, whatever. And so I go, I guess we're going to split up. And Neil's like, well, pairs of two seems like it just makes sense. So we'll see you later. And Fern is like, well, we'll come down and get you. And Wim's like, well, we're going to be there first. So we'll come get you type of thing. It's kind of funny, whatever. And looking at my notes. So as they're going, like, you know, Fern and Neil, they're climbing up this ladder up the side of this cliff. And Fern, it's easy for Fern, but Neil's like, I can't reach that well. Like I can't work as well. I can't climb as well as you. Like I'm not strong enough. I'm not tall enough. Whatever. And she's annoyed by that. But she sees like a rope. I'm like, okay, now she's gonna like tie a rope around him. Whatever. We'll see that later. And then it goes to Wim and KB. They're just kind of talking, walking along, following the crabs. And they come to a scrap heap of like everything. And then there's like a droid in there that kind of looks like SM-33. And like a little like thing comes out of the eye, just like SM-33. And Wim's like, well, how do you think 33's doing? Do you think he's okay? And there's no response from KB. And he looks over and she's just sitting down on the ground, not moving. And he's like, oh, no, what's going on? What's going on? And she's like, whatever's like not working, whatever processor's not working. And she's like, I can't move. And she's like really slow, talking really slow. I'm like, oh, this is not good. Like, I was really nervous. Were you nervous about this at all?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty intense moment. Because like before, when they had to like start her or whatever, like they didn't really show us how involved it was into her body. And then like this part, I was like, oh, we're about to like see what's gonna happen.
Right, because like last episode, like they kind of just teased, oh, I can't go down by the mud baths because the steam is not good. I can't. Well, and they never really did anything with them. Like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it kind of was like, why?
Yeah, but then it came to be in this episode. So she's like, well, we need to make what do they call it? Droids? No, she had to get droids servos, which is like contraptions from droids. But like this, like a cylinder, she's like, it's all corroded. We have to replace it. And she's like, get these droid servos. We gotta get as much of it possible. And it says, open these up, take these wires out, and take my torch and melt them. I'm like, oh, dang! Like that torch can melt those things, but not the cup that's
So,
in. Like,
I was like, dude, how's this kid's hand not on fire right now?
Right,
The way he
right.
was holding it, I was like, bro, this boy's about to burn himself.
Unless like the cup that she had was her cup,
No,
and
she definitely had a cup, and like she had all those tools on her
Right.
in case this happens. And this is probably not the first time this has happened, where
right.
she's done it herself.
'Cause
Though
she said
maybe
she said she's done it before, but not outside. So she does
Yeah.
it in her house or whatever. So like I was just wondering, like, is that cup something that she had on her if she had to like melt something? So maybe
I'm pretty sure
it's just a
Beskar cup.
yeah, it doesn't melt. It has a high heat resistance type
Like
thing.
like those like metal cups or like when they pour gold, like
Yeah.
those. It's probably like one of those.
Yep. And
I'm
apparently
just like
it's so
surprised
good.
that he
It's so
didn't burn
good
his
that
hand.
it doesn't burn. The heat doesn't go through and burn her
Yeah,
hand.
yeah, exactly.
But like he's burning that stuff down, melting it, and she's like takes this because like he has to like go back and open up the whole back of her head.
Her
Like
head,
it's like
yeah,
way more elaborate than I thought it was because it like
yeah.
it's like this base of her skull and her spinal cord spine were attached to the head. And it's just like a completely redone thing. Like oh dang, like because she said she had an accident, so I'm assuming she broke her neck and broke her back and neck and stuff like that. And they had to completely replace that to save her life. Which, when you're a kid growing up, like they have to like constantly be
Modding it.
changing it so it can grow
Yeah.
with her. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's a rough life for her as a kid to like have to have that
Well,
continually
and
updated.
well, like what's interesting too is like I wonder how much of her like is there's other parts of her body that we don't realize that are modded, like her maybe her like legs too, or like I don't know, or do you think it's just the back of her head and her?
I think it's just her neck and back of her head. Um, but like when she was fixed, spoiler alert, like she moves her fingers and stuff. So maybe
Mhm.
it's just because that's the brain
It
is
definitely
connected
has
to
to,
everything.
or the spinal.
But I don't know how much it is. But like
She broke her spine.
there was a comment from Garrett. I've seen a couple things pop up on my Google, like how KB is linked to Lando's right hand man from Empire because of the cybernetic implant. So
Ooh.
Lobot. So maybe like the tech that she has was invented on at Aten, and then because the planet opens up to the galaxy, that technology is then
Yeah, but that's
re-
that's
released.
before though,
Oh, right.
like way
Oh,
before.
never mind. I keep thinking it takes place centuries before, like because that's the planet is centuries before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Never mind.
Their
Never mind.
technology is centuries before. Now that's like another thing that I'm wondering, like how old. Like it seems like that version of that technology might be outdated. So maybe we can see her later on. Maybe in season 2, she gets better mods due to the technology outside is probably better. Maybe she hooks up with Boba and that
She moves to
biker gang.
Tatooine because it's dry, and so she doesn't get
Yeah.
corroded.
Or she like goes hangs out with those mod people and they actually mod her to the point where it doesn't actually affect her like that where she can go swimming or like another thing I'm like, do this girl ever take a bath then? Like can she just not bathe or bathes but like she has to wear like a bubble cap?
I don't know. I'm sure there's ways to do it. Because like if she just has some cartridges at home and like you just
Yeah.
swap them out and dry them off and then put them back in type of thing, like that's probably doesn't corrode. But like if you just let it corrode, then it goes bad pretty quick. But I don't know.
Yeah, but like to that point though, maybe that technology and that version of that technology is old. It has to be that old because they're not really learning new ways on add-in.
Right.
So
But it could still be it could be better than what is like Lobot has.
or it could be the same version of
Because
technology.
Lobot,
Lobot.
he's more like a robot. Like he's very robotic. Like he doesn't have a personality really, seems like. But she does. So maybe
Mm.
her stuff is an improvement for the galaxy. We'll see. I don't know. Um, but yeah. So as Wim is doing what he has to do, like following her instructions, like she's just talking about how you know Fern was her only friend, and Like, if I lose her, then I'm back to zero friends again, just like the title. I like how like all the titles are lines from the show.
Or like in the show, yeah.
So she's like sad, and that's when Wim is like, "Well, then you can be friends with Neil and I." And that's when, as she's dying, she has like she's happy in the moment, and um, I don't know. It was just a very intense moment, but also heartfelt moment, and she's like continuing to, because she says like, Wim's like, well, why don't you just tell her how you feel? Like, and she's like, well, Fern's not a patient person.
As you can tell.
Like she's not going to listen, type of thing. And like, it's just what it is. Like, I can't do anything about it. Like, it looks like our friendship is over now, type of thing. And so he's just talking, and she's talking him through how to do it. So she like takes the old cylinder and like pushes it in the sand. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, why? And then she pulls it and she's like, all right, pour it into the mold. Like, oh, this is why she's super smart and I'm not. I wouldn't have thought of that in a million years. Like, so then he's like, oh, cool. And so he just pours it in, and it immediately gets hard, which, good. Like, that's how it works in space science, that it just immediately turns hard. And so he pulls it out of the sand.
He blows on it.
Which, like a Nintendo video game or Sega
Yeah.
game, and he tries to push the whole cartridge back in the back of her head, and it won't work. It won't fit. She's like, just push it. And she pushes it in, or he pushes it in, and finally clicks in. And then she kind of like falls forward. And I'm like, I know they're not going to kill this girl off in this show.
No.
But I'm like, how is this going to happen? What's going on?
But are they going to kill
her?
her?
They like lingered like for like 20 seconds. And he's just like looking at her like, did I do something wrong? Like, he's starting to freak out a little bit. Like, and then she just pops up and she's good. She checks her finger like, oh, cool. And she stands up, and it kind of got me a little bit is when she said, thanks, Jedi. Like, I was like, oh, dang, I'm not crying, you're crying, type of thing. and so then she like, all right, let's go. Like, we're good to go. And like, she's like, I thought you'd be a little bit more whatever, saving someone's life for the first time or whatever. Like, she's like all nonchalant about it. Like, okay. And then she walks away, and he's just like, wow, she called me a Jedi. Like, this is what I wanted. I wanted to help people. Cause like in the first episode, he's like, I wanted to help people. And the droid's like, there's no need for helping people. That's why we got droids, blah, blah, blah. So it's like cool that he's getting to live out his adventure dream, but also like his Jedi dream also.
His dream, yeah.
And so then it flashes to the other two kids, and they're climbing, and Fern is pulling Neil up by a rope. And like, oh, this is a lot easier. Thanks, Fern. Blah, 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 blah. And then, like, we see these little, like, I don't know what you call them, like, tugboat type ship things that are, like, latching on to the onyx cinder and are towing it away. And there goes our ship. Like, what are we going to do? And she's like, well, we got to get on that. And so they get off the ladder onto like a panel that they're just like standing on there as it's going by, and they jump off. Like, one, Neo was too easily was willing to jump, but I also think like they're roped together, so he didn't really have any choice.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice.
If Fern's going, he's going. So, and they land on top of one of the tugboat. I thought they were going to land on top of the
ship. They just
and
get
like
inside. That's what I thought. Yeah,
but they landed on one of the tugboat things, and so that's happening while Fern and Wim are like being led by the crabs, and the crabs are saying home, home, home. Like, oh, we're here. Like, let's see, where do they bring us to? And then Big Boy or Big Mama, who knows what, because he calls like sir, and they're like, or ma'am, or like he didn't know what to call this giant crab. So this crab is about to eat them or whatever, and they're all surrounded by all these little crabs. And
You know what they should have done?
what's that?
Probably should have gave the crab maybe a little coffee or tea to calm it down. Maybe that's all they really wanted was some caffeine or some
Yeah,
tea.
those little crabs had little jitters in them, and
Yeah,
so
they're a little shaken up.
and so yeah, you're probably right. A little coffee or tea would help them. And coincidentally, once again, our sponsor for today is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if you are a hungry giant crab looking to eat two little kids that are lost, and you want to help think things through a little bit better, have a little listen to this little commercial break.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. So, big giant crabs are getting closer. All the little crabs are closing in, and the kids go up on this rock, trying to figure out what to do. And they see off in the distance their ship, and there's our ship. Is that Fern and Neil? I don't know. And then they're coming in. They're trying to so they're on top of the little tugboat thing, and apparently you can steer them from that thing, which is a weird.
Well, they weren't super balanced.
Right, but it's just but I'm saying Fern had her hand on a little
Yeah, that was weird.
so I don't
It
know.
was also weird how she knew that was possible.
I think she just jumped on there and it just happened
Just
to
so
work.
happened to work.
Because I'm guessing it's also you could manually drive it, but they had the droid, the R2 unit type thing on it
Yeah,
that was doing the work. It seems like so. I guess there's
just yelling at
just like any
at them the
starship
whole
where a
time.
droid can fly it, but also manual flying too.
Mhm.
But Neil is there's women, KB over there. We gotta go. We gotta get lower. And so then they go lower, sort of pulling the ship down, and so they get close enough, and then Wim and KB are able to jump off the rock onto the tugboat thing. And Fern's please tell me we got him. Yeah, we got him. We're there. Da, 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 da. And then they're still dragging the other ship, the ship around and stuff. And they just crashes type of thing. The little tugboat thing. So they crash. They're all good. They're all I think Neil's is everyone okay? And even broken bones or whatever he's yelling. And they're just catching each other up and checking things, blah, blah, blah. And then there's this moment between Fern and KB where they both apologize to each other and stuff like that. It was a very sweet moment of them just realizing that they weren't the best communicators in their friendship to each other and that they can work each other out. And they're you're my best friend. Yeah, you're my best friend. And then they hug and then everything's good to go. And they're just figuring out where's the ship? And they hear whatever over the little sand dune thing. And they climb up and they look over. And this is a scene from the trailer that I forgot about too. And it's the ship is literally in that scene in the trailer of this big giant fire thing.
Yeah, blowing it up too.
But like, we didn't know what the ship looked like at the time.
Yeah.
We didn't know. And so, like, well,
I
there's a
forgot
ship.
all about that scene too until after it happened. I was like, oh wait, we saw this in the trailer, but
Right. And so it's just this big giant thing that's like with these teeth that just turns and pulls garbage in. And
it reminded me of Toy Story Part 2.
I think it's 3.
2. No, 3. You're right. 3. Yes, 3.
Wow. We were talking about that's 2 Toy Story references in one episode. Wow. Dang, dude.
Because you have a friend in me, Jeremiah.
Yep. But
Even though you didn't tell me or
I didn't
call
tell
me
you until
or,
after surgery.
or like ask me to help you in any way. But, you know, whatever.
So many people were texting me. I'm like,
yeah, and then you didn't text me.
I text one person to tell other people, and then I started getting texts from everybody, and I'm just like,
apparently I don't know that person.
Someone an elder at my church, and then he
told everyone, and then
he spread the word, and then
yeah,
whatever.
It's okay.
But they're like, oh, we gotta get that ship before it gets destroyed. And so they all run in there, and they're all like trying to like, how do we start this thing? And KB's like, well, I think I saw Jod and SM33 do this or whatever. And she just starts boom, 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 like every single button switch. And like, you just said like you think you got it, and she just like does it like she's done it her whole entire life. Like this is her job. So it was cool seeing her just like get into her zone to like get this thing going. And it's like, but I think it was something like the engines weren't like kicking over or whatever.
You remember before when they first got to work, she smacked it and it just started working.
Yeah. So it's like, well, I'm going to go try and, what was this phrase she said? Kickstart it or whatever, or jumpstart it. And so she goes down there and she's like, well, who's going to fly this? And she's like, well, Neil, you fly. Me? Well, you flew once before with Jod. Like, it's you. And he's like, okay. And then, so then,
you see what the chat just said?
What? I just...
yeah. The chat said, Jeremiah has the best impersonation of kids. No one else can say otherwise. It's true.
And whatever. And so then Wim was like, I'm going to go shoot it down, blah, 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 blah. Like, and he just runs, gets in, and he starts like getting in the turret and he's shooting the thing. And I'm like, I was kind of sad that it didn't like work a little bit. Like, I was hoping like it was like working to some degree, but not enough.
It kind of like, I was hoping that it was going to like break something a little bit, maybe.
Right. Like maybe something like, you know, like he was able to break some of the teeth, but then like,
it was just like, coming too fast.
It like released it, and then like 2 more like ones came in and like replaced it, type of thing.
Yeah,
but like I guess it makes sense because it's designed to take a lot of
pressure.
Destroy
everything. Yeah.
Right. So, he's like, the thing was so funny is what he yelled. Did you catch what he yelled?
Mm-mm.
He's like, it's too invincible.
Yeah.
That's so funny. It's too invincible. It's not just invincible. It's too invincible. Like, I thought that was the funniest line probably the whole show. I don't know. I like that line. And KB gets the engine going, whatever. But the thing is, it's already grabbing on. The hooks are already grabbing on. Teeth are already grabbing onto the hull of this ship. And like, we can't get out not enough power. She's like, I need more power. And like KB's like, well, I can give it one last surge. And she gets to she like, I think she hooks into it with her.
I was gonna say, I was afraid in this moment that she was gonna die.
Oh no, they're definitely not gonna kill these kids off, dude.
I know, but like in this moment, like, dude, she plugs in and they get away, and then she doesn't wake up. Imagine if that happened. That'd be so sad.
It would be kind of crazy.
Because then they wouldn't be able to get the coordinates anyways.
But it didn't happen, so we're fine.
Yeah.
But she was able to like connect it into it and like get like a surge. And even with the surge, they weren't able to back out. And it's like, well, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And
unlimited power. The chat said.
Fern mentions the thing about the Hall. What I forget what the exact phraseology. The Hall self-destruct type thing, which like I thought it was like a actual self-destruct thing, but it was like a Hall thing for the Hull.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know what they knew what it was.
Well, they didn't know. I didn't. I don't remember I can't remember what the phraseology is exactly.
Well, okay, so like a thing that also bothered me, which has nothing to do with this episode, but if you watch the recap, they talked about that button.
Right, when I watched it the second time.
Which is annoying that Star Wars does that.
Yeah, but you didn't catch it the first time, so.
No, I did. I was like, oh well, they're gonna push that button when I first watched it.
Well, we knew they were gonna do it eventually. Like, cause they made a note of it in the second episode. But I thought it was like a self-destruct thing, so I thought they were gonna sacrifice. At some point in the show, they were gonna have to sacrifice the whole ship to save the day. But this was way cooler. So
way cooler. I thought that's what they're doing. I'm like, why would you push that button? And it started blowing up, and I was like, what? And they kept trying to escape.
Because I like how they visualize this thing. Like,
yeah, it literally almost killed what's his name on top. Like, it went right by his
the turret.
The turret.
And so like it was just like all these like, it's like the hull was like an outer shell that was like connected by all these hundreds of little like points, and it just released those points, and they were able to like reverse out of it like a sleeve, which is cool. So I guess it was just like extra armor that they had on there to like take damage during battle, and so they could just get rid of it. And so there was
pretty cool.
And the ship is kind of cool. Like it looked like another ship. I can't remember.
It looked like Princess Leia's ship, or not Queen Amidala's.
I don't know.
Kind of. It had like that pointy noise.
Well, I'm saying like that like type of shape looked like. It looked like the main body was the same as another main body of another ship that we're familiar with. But I can't. I don't. I'm terrible.
Small ships.
No, maybe I don't know. I'm terrible.
Because Maul is kind of like pointy like that too, or it kind of looked like the Mandalorian ship.
The Razor Crest?
No, like the what's her name's ship?
Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the Gauntlets?
Yeah, kind of.
No, because those are like, I don't know. I'm terrible with my Star Wars ships. It's like one of those things I wish I knew better, but
it was like a triangle.
And so they just back out and they go to space, and that's it.
But the way it was more dramatic than that. It was dope. It was really cool. We've never seen a ship that had a layer.
Right.
Like that was definitely designed for like a pirate escape.
Yep, definitely.
Like that moment. Which is why it had like front and back thrusters essentially.
Right. And so it's going to be, so what's going to happen is like, I wonder if like next episode, it's only going to be about the pirates attacking at Atten. And then at the end of the episode, that's when the kids arrive. But like, I wonder if, because the hull was removed, if all the if like Jod, like isn't going to recognize him. Like, I don't know that ship. Like that's not the Onyx Cinder type of thing. So that he's going to be confused. The pirates are going to be confused. Like, who is this coming? But they're definitely going to come. I just don't know like what the time difference is going to be between when the pirates arrive and when the kids arrive. So
yeah.
And then the last episode, there's going to be probably a big battle between the two sides, and it's the kids versus a fleet of pirates. But then it's like, is
I
the
also think
supervisor an actual person, and he's going to come in and save the day somehow? Like there's like a planetary defense thing where he can fight against the pirates. Because remember from that
you
fourth
don't think,
episode that
yeah,
there's that giant cannon also on top of the
Mhm.
school.
We can't forget about that. Also, can't really forget about the New Republic somewhat being involved.
Right, because Kim, the owl lady,
Mm-hmm.
does imply she was going to tell that X-Wing pilot the situation of At-Atten. So maybe the New Republic is trying to
Find At-Atten themselves.
and maybe because Kim had more time after the fact to like narrow her search, maybe the New Republic will show up too.
I don't think, no matter what, I don't think at this point At-Atten is going to be a hidden planet after this.
Well, right. No one thinks it'll be hidden after this. But like I wonder if the New Republic shows up, like, is Hera and Chopper going to be in the fleet that arrives? Like, that would be kind of cool.
That would be dope. Because we don't know if this. We assume that this is during the Ahsoka stuff, or
All we know is it's 9 ABY, which is what they say for
Yeah.
every Mandoverse.
it's just
show.
confusing because that pirate is with them.
So I want to say it's season 1 of Mando is when it takes place, because I think what's going to happen is that Vane, that guy, escapes and then joins what the seaweed guy, whatever his name is. But like
Because right now he's definitely not.
But after season 3, he like, I think you mentioned like maybe he left and joined Jod's crew when he was by himself, the last pirate from
Yeah.
season
So
2.
it's either this is before and then he joins the seaweed guide, or I want to say I have a feeling it's after. It's like maybe in between Ahsoka's events and right after season 4 or season 3.
Possibly, maybe it's between Ahsoka and the Grogu and Mando movie.
Yeah.
But they said 9 ABY, so it's kind of like it could be, if they don't have any other characters crossover, we might not ever get that answer. But
yeah. It's just okay. It's just dumb that we have this character in it if we're not gonna have anything. Like I want, like, what's the point of having him there if we're not gonna figure out the timeline properly?
I just think they just want to
Make it, that was their way to make it feel like it's that timeline by just throwing a character that we
throw
kind of
the
know.
New Republic out there, X-Wings out there.
Even the
and that
X-Wing
guy.
guys aren't the same guys. Like, I thought they were gonna be the same guys. They weren't.
The whole galaxy, they're not going to only have two pilots. Like Carson Teva can't be
Nah, they could
doing
though.
every single thing.
At least have Dave Filoni pirate, like, flying around,
Pilot, I don't know.
or Zeb. That'd be cool.
Could get Zeb. That'd be cool. Zeb showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he like supposed to be like?
Isn't he a pilot?
He's a pilot, but he's like he trains pilots.
Yeah.
For the Republic or whatever, or something.
That'd
like
be
that.
actually cool. The way they tie it together, we actually get to see Zeb more than just
that one scene.
that one.
They spent so much money making that
Dude.
like photorealistic CGI model of him, and they're just gonna use him for like a minute. Like,
not even. Like, just let us have him. That would have, okay, dude. If that episode was at 2, if that would have been Zeb, we would all lost it, dude.
it would have been cool if he was in that episode.
That
3.
would have been dope, bro.
But I don't know.
We'll
The best thing about the show is like we have our theories, but like there's not enough like stuff to know exactly what's going to happen. So it's like our predictions are kind of limited.
Yeah.
Pirates are going to show up, and then the kids are going to show up. That's all we really know.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about it too is like there's so much to the concept of the lore of this planet is so cool. Like how they came up with this hidden planet that was stuck in the Old Republic timeline / New Republic timeline, who literally, like, kids haven't even seen stars yet. Like, the concept of that is so cool. So, like, everything is new to them. I wish they were more, like, impressed with everything. Like, they are, but, like, I wish it was even more, like, just, like, they're, to me, what kind of bothers me is, like, they're not impressed with a lot more alien species.
They made a
But-
note of that in episode 2. But like when they look at all these aliens, so it's like I think they may have learned about it like in textbooks,
Yeah.
or not textbooks, data pads, about different species, because they weren't like afraid of the other species or really shocked. They were just surprised to see them, not like shocked that they exist.
Yeah, and I mean, even in this episode, when he's met the crabs, he's like, they're talking, they're intelligent,
right?
Like, so he knew not just to try to eat them,
right?
But to your point, were they actually really talking, or were there like the things on them talking?
I don't know.
It was really cool seeing the one with the leg stuck on it. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, this guy just.
It would have been funny if it was like a protocol droid head, and the head was talking.
Help me!
Thank the maker, help me! And then I just keep walking.
Your odds aren't good. Don't go. Your odds aren't, like, just kept. That was pretty sad too. Like, we didn't really mention that. How he's like, why do I always pick the bad guys?
Oh yeah, that's funny.
That was kind of sad. It was like, yeah, you do always pick. You trust too much,
right?
Which is a good and a bad thing. But
right. All right. Well,
I'm excited for next week. I think it'll be sweet. I was bummed I wasn't here last week, but I'm glad that Jeremiah's alive, so we could have done this week. So it worked out.
I'm not dead yet, kids.
No.
So we might as well move on to everyone's favorite time of every episode, voicemail time.
It's voicemail time.
All right. Well, I forgot to adjust the volume on these voicemails, so hopefully they're appropriate for and post will be fine, but for the live stream, we'll
chat chill. Yet? Question mark. Yeah, well, everyone dies one day.
One day. All right, first up, second ever voicemail from the first time sender from last week. I think it was Alex. So let's take a listen. I completely forgot what this one's about, so let's take a listen.
Hey, Empire Radio. It's Alex here again. I have another question. If you guys have somebody that's never seen Star Wars before, where would you start them out at? They don't know anything about Star Wars at all. None of the characters, nothing. Where would you start them out at? Thank you. May the Force be with you.
All right, thank you, Alex. I just recommend for people just to do it chronological. Like the whole original trilogy thing, like I feel like that is a focus on the Darth Vader reveal. But people already know that because it's so cultural. And now you still watch reaction videos of people not knowing that, which is cool. But like,
well, you want people to start A New Hope?
Chronological from the very beginning.
Yes,
but most people want to start with episode 4.
No,
because people want the Darth Vader reveal of like being Luke's father type of thing. But like it doesn't matter because it's so cultural that people know that. But I don't know. I think the straight chronological, start with episode 1, then episode 2, watch Clone Wars, just do complete chronological with the shows. That's not what I would say. I think it's just easier that way. I think for some people, the original trilogy would be kind of boring just because it's not nostalgic for them. So like seeing the old style of like acting.
Yeah, especially if you're showing to a kid, like sometimes that's rough.
Well, kids don't mind that. They don't know any better.
A teenager.
But like, teenager and adults that are watching it, the original trilogy would be probably not that great to start
But
out with.
kids, or not kids, I should say most people, if they've never seen Star Wars, they know who Vader is. They know who R2 and C3PO are. Like, people that have never seen Star Wars, you can show them an image of that around the world and they would know who that is. So for people to not know that Luke and Vader are father and son is very rare, I feel like.
It's more common than you realize, but it's still like most people know. Like,
Yeah.
because you still watch, like I said, reaction videos of people watching Star Wars for the first time,
Yeah, well,
and they don't know that
you don't
until
think
it's revealed.
people fake it out.
And there's like, no, you can't know. Like, and so there, but there's also like different ways of like doing it where they want you to watch episode
supposed to, like,
4,
Yeah.
then watch episodes 1 and 2,
Yeah.
then watch 5, and then 3.
Mhm.
But like, because that way you start with the main story of episode 4, then you get like the backstory, and you learn about Anakin. Like, oh, this is Luke's dad. Okay, cool. Blah blah blah. And then you watch episode 5. Like, what? Anakin turns to the dark side. He becomes Vader, and then you watch episode 3, and then you see the fall. But I don't know. That just gets too confusing for some people jumping around like that. But I did remember watching a guy who was reacting to all the videos where he watched 4 and 5, and then watched 1, 2, and 3, and didn't know that Luke and Leia were twins at that time because he didn't watch episode 6 yet.
Oh yeah.
So he's watching episode 3, and the medical droid is like, the twins. He's like, what? Luke has a brother? And then names Luke, and then pulls out because Leia's second, right? Born second?
Yes.
And so she's like, Leia. And he's like, what? They're brother and sister? And he's like freaking out. That's kind of funny.
That's kind of cool. I mean, there's ways to do it. I think the reveal of Luke or Anakin becoming Vader is just as crazy though as like the reveal of, like, that's just as important.
Right.
But like, okay, so like this scene. Nope, not that button.
What are you doing?
Nope, not that button.
It's not true. That's impossible.
Like, Miles knows that, so like every once in a while, like we'll be playing games, and then I'm like, "That's not true. That's impossible." And then Miles is like, "That's impossible." But he's like 2, or 3, but he knows that Anakin or Luke and Vader are like father and son. So like, and he's never seen the movie, but I mean, I guess it's probably me.
He's part of your life, his
Yeah,
lifestyle
that's true.
growing up is Star Wars.
Yeah, but it's just like, I feel like people know.
I wish I could like experiment on people, like how like have them do it chronological, but like
Mhm.
before they watch episode 3, have them finish season 7 of the Clone Wars. So like they see Order 66 from Ahsoka's perspective,
Mhm.
and not knowing what happens in the movie, and like there's the moment when Obi-Wan says that Anakin killed Count Dooku. But if you haven't seen the movie yet, like this is like, what? How did I miss? Like, what's going on? Like, we're missing so much. And I want to like sit there and watch people watch Clone Wars season 7, final 4 episodes, and then watch episode 3 with them to see like that. I don't know. I just want to like do experiments on people just to see what it's like. But like, I don't know. But
Yeah,
there's a lot of
'cause
people
they
that do it
kinda-
different ways though.
you kind of do have to like, you can't, I don't know. It's hard because it's like you want them to watch Clone Wars at the same time. Like the real order of what they should really do is watch 1, 2, watch Clone Wars, finish all of that, then watch 3, then watch 4, 5, 6. But
Well, yeah, but you still got all the shows in between before the movies. Then you got to watch Bad Batch, and then you got to do Solo and Kenobi,
I mean-
and then Rebels and Andor, and then
I mean, that'd be
Rogue
dope.
One, and then the original trilogy. Like, I feel like that would be so fun to do. Like, if I could
You
delete
gotta
my
find
memory,
someone. Oh, yeah, like start over yourself.
like that'd be crazy. Like, I wonder, like at my age now, of not knowing anything about Star Wars, deleting it and then doing it chronological from the beginning.
You gotta find someone like a friend who literally has never seen Star Wars and then watch it all with
Yeah,
them
but, like,
that way.
All my friends
of it.
are in their 30s and they have families and they don't have time to like.
You gotta find someone that doesn't have a family, bro.
That's me. I'm that friend.
Shoot. Dang it, you're right.
So I don't know.
If you're out there and you have a friend who needs another friend who's never watched any Star Wars, link him up with Jeremiah so Jeremiah can experience that feeling. But he has to record it so we can all experience it too.
Yeah, we gotta monetize your friend. All right, well,
I'll do that with my next kid. So my next kid, I'll hide all my Star Wars stuff. They
Yeah,
won't
that's not
know
gonna work.
for like 10 years.
Daddy,
and
why
then-
do you disappear for 3 hours on Wednesday nights? Like, what are you doing
And
there?
why does only Miles know and not me?
It's not
Wh-
fair. You love
what's in
Miles
that
more than me.
room?
There's my kid voice again.
Yeah, your voice actor coming through. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Alex. All right. Next up, we got two from our boy Garrett in the chat, Gakman820. So I am going to play these in the reverse order of how he sent them. So first up is his overall thoughts of this episode. So let's take a listen.
Hey, Empire Radio, Garrett again. Oh my gosh, what an episode of Skeleton Crew. I liked the fight between the kids in the beginning. It showed growth for them all in realizing the true danger of their situation. Then for them to make up and finally work together to get the ship free by fitting into the roles they had the first time. Absolute cinema. Since there's been some talks about Acolyte versus Skeleton Crew, I'd like to speak my 2 cents. One thing that I feel makes Skeleton Crew better is the idea of show don't tell. In the Acolyte, we are told about the fact that there is more to Soul and the others, but we're constantly teased with the explanation, only for it to not be revealed, then teased again, with the answer to not be revealed yet again. And by the time it is revealed, it feels unsatisfying because we have constantly been hearing about it. But on the other hand, Skeleton Crew tells us basically nothing and instead shows us things that lead us to come to conclusions. Like, we still don't know who Jod really is, but we have some inkling that he was a Jedi once because he has a decent understanding and use of the Force, and also the way he quoted Qui-Gon Jinn while talking to Wim. But the show hasn't teased us with his past by telling us. The show has walked us with the story rather than watching from the outside, allowing us to discover and solve things as they happen, which leads to a much more satisfying story. Oh, and happy news cycle, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Garrett. Wonderful thoughts. Yes. I've always said show, don't tell. And you are right. Like, Skeleton Crew does that very well, where we're just kind of along for the adventure with the kids. We're discovering it with the kids. And Acolyte was just not a good show in any way, shape, or form. So good insight.
Don't tell Andrew that.
Don't tell Angie that.
He loves that show. And I don't even think he's watched this one yet.
He has not started watching it as of like a couple weeks ago, but we got to get him caught up on Star Wars. He hasn't watched season 3 of Bad Batch. He hasn't watched this show.
You guys go follow him on Instagram.
It's also partly our fault because we commissioned him to do the March Madness, EU March Madness.
Hold up. We didn't do anything.
We, as an Empire Radio,
Sure,
hired
sure.
him. I know I do all the scheduling, but
I was like, I didn't do nothing.
it was kind of, it was more like a joke. He's like, yeah, I bought this 19 book set. I'm like, so I just quick made like a little thumbnail, like 19 books, 4 weeks, one story, EU March Madness on like a basketball court. He's like, all right, I'll do it. Oh, okay. There's our March schedule already done, but
and
yes.
he's like moving. Yeah.
Is he officially moving, or is that?
I don't know.
I have to catch up with that. But he was on a live stream last night on YouTube, and I
I missed it. I should have.
He did like his top 10 K-pop songs or something from 2024.
2024.
I was in the.
Was there a lot of people in the live stream?
It was like when I went in, there was like 23, but I didn't really remember like if I was at the beginning or whatever. But I made one comment. He answered my comment, and then I left because I didn't know anything what he was talking about. All right. Well, last up, we got another one from Garrett. The continuation of the coup d'etat verse. Last week, what happened last? No, it wasn't last. It was 2 weeks ago.
Was he not here last week?
He didn't. I don't think he had one last week for the coup
Sweet,
d'etat,
good.
but he was training with Ray. Empress Palpatine.
Yeah, I was going to say, not Ray.
And getting better. And so this is a continuation of things now. So let's keep going.
Hey Empire Radio, it's Garrett. We got attacked today. These guys came in on a trading ship and ran out screaming, "For the Resistance!" and started blasting everything. Luckily, the Empress has been training me to use new kinds of powers. Me and a group of troopers were able to intervene and stop them from reaching the reactor core. The Resistance fighters were led by a man wearing gray armor with a lightsaber. His lightsaber was blue with a crossguard, and he was also very aggressive with powerful, fast strikes. I was barely able to hold him off until Empress Palpatine came. Unfortunately, he got away.
You know who that is, Drew?
Mm-mm.
That is Ben Solo is my thing. Crossguard with a blue. So this is Jedi Ben Solo. Because we got Empress Palpatine. So
Yeah, so this is like Rebuild the Galaxy lore now.
yeah, so that's exciting.
That's cool.
Gray armor. So I feel like kind of looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi's like white armor from Clone Wars, but gray type of thing.
Mm.
Blue hilted.
Should have been all white. But
be kind of cool. We'll see how that plays out. But like, I don't know, like Garrett, like you're such a good guy. Are you like now like?
do you understand what's going on here?
Yeah. Do you understand that you're on the bad side now? Like you're getting, you're trying to like go undercover with like inside the First Order, but now have you been seduced by the dark side? But yeah, that's exciting. Oh, and I forgot to mention about the last voicemail from Garrett. He mentioned Jod's line to Wim was the same line that Qui-Gon said to little Annie in episode 1. That your vision, your focus gives you vision, or your vision gives you focus, whatever it was, whatever. Like that's the same exact line. So some people were thinking he might have been trained a little bit by Qui-Gon when he was a kid or something like that.
A youngling.
Kind of cool. All right. Well, thank you, Garrett, for those 2 voicemails. I'm excited to see what happens with Jedi Ben Solo and what Empress Rey has to say in response to him. And then, and thank you, Alex, as well. Anything else, Drew?
No.
All right, cool. Well, if you want to get connected with us here at Empire Radio more than just listening or watching on YouTube, go in the description below, click the links.co/Empire Radio, link spelled with 2 I's. Click that landing page for everything. So you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, follow us on YouTube, Twitch for live streams, join the Discord. If you want somewhere to hang out and talk Star Wars with people, go right ahead, join the Discord. There's a channel for everything. There's always there people willing to talk. So go check that out. There's a fan email. If you want to send us an email about anything, send in your own voicemail, a link for that as well. And then needlesslynerdy.com is a entertainment network that we're a part of. So go check that out for other nerdy content and podcasts and stuff like that. Anything else, Drew?
No. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year. There's going to be a lot of Star Wars content. We got Andor coming up soon. We got Star Wars Celebration. We're going to get trailers sometime this year. Probably another animated show sometime. I'm guessing this fall.
Trailer. We should be getting an Andor trailer really soon. I would probably
Right.
Super Bowl.
What week is the
February?
Super Bowl? Was it the first weekend or second weekend?
First, it's February 6th, I think. Which reminds me, I need to try to get it off work. It's probably already not possible.
February 2nd would be the first Sunday in February.
I think you're right.
2nd, or is it the 9th?
Let's find out.
Because
Chat, try to beat me to it.
So then I'll be kind of figure out.
The 9th.
Oh, hopefully that doesn't screw up with our schedule, because that's our Halloween special.
Halloween, you mean
or
Valentine's?
I always say that every single time for Valentine's
Halloween.
Day. I always say Halloween.
We know how you feel about Valentine's.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Valentine's. So that's our long-awaited Lost Stars book review.
I just finished it.
Again?
Yeah,
You're going to read it another time before?
probably.
Gosh. You probably have it memorized by now, dude.
Maybe.
I'm going to make you lead the discussion and do the summary for that episode, just so you know.
Oh, well, oh Lord. I don't know about all that.
But
yeah, I got it on my Kindle now, and I just finished it last week at work, and I was like, oh, this book is perfect. I need to bring. Did you order it?
I have a
Dang it!
hardcover. You said you weren't going to let me borrow one because you got to
I-
have one like in every
I-
area of your life. You have one in your backpack, so whenever you want to do it, you have one at your parents' house, so you can read it there. You
I
have one in your
bought
bathroom
you
when you're sitting on the
one.
toilet.
I bought you a hardcover.
When?
I was supposed to give it to you for Christmas.
Bro, I bought that like 2 months ago.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. You didn't tell me.
Well, I didn't know.
I got it out of Half Price Books for $5.
$5?
Yeah. Can you return the one you got?
No, I got that off Amazon for like $20 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like on Half Price Books for $5. I was like, dude, I bought 3 of them.
What?
Yeah, I bought one for
online or in person?
No, in person. I was there with my brother because he's like addicted to that store. And I was like with him. I was like, dude, what? Hardcover Lost Stars? $5. I got 3. One for me. I gave one for Steph. She'll never read it, but I still gave it. I made her open it for Christmas.
Oh,
And then I got
gosh.
one for you. Because I rented, like borrowed out one of my hardcovers and I lost it. So I didn't have it. And I think I gave out my soft cover to my brother, my other brother. So I was like, dude, I don't have a copy. But then I just got it on Kindle because it was free on the Kindle app thing. And I downloaded that thing right away. And I was like, "Ooh, let's go." So solid book. Solid book. And if Jeremiah hates it, I'm going to be so mad. It's going to ruin my life so much.
I don't know. Well, but we got a lot of content. We got another book before that. So
I know.
I'm reading that one now.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see how things play out. And then we got our 5-year 300th episode in February. We have an Imperial interview scheduled at the end of February. Then we have 4 weeks of EU with Andrew. Then we have Star Wars Celebration and stuff. And then we have Andor for like 10 to 12 weeks, depending on how they release the episodes. So,
Yep.
All right. Well, you've been listening to another Friends-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.